The bridge of the Galactic Council patrol vessel was quiet when the distress signal came through. Officer Velthar sat at his station, monitoring the empty space around them like he did every day. Nothing ever happened in this sector. It was supposed to be a boring assignment. That changed when his screen started flashing red. "Captain, we have a distress call," Velthar said, his voice shaking slightly. He checked the information again to make sure he was reading it correctly. "It's coming from Sector 447, the quarantine zone." Captain Zixril felt her blood run cold. Sector 447 was special. It was home to a species that the Galactic Council had decided to leave alone. They called themselves humans, and they lived on a planet so dangerous that most alien species couldn't even survive there. The Council had classified them as Class 12 Deathworlders and decided to watch them from far away instead of making contact. "Are you sure about this?" Zixril asked. "Yes, Captain. The signal is from a merchant ship called Stellar Dawn. They say they're being attacked by Krell raiders near the third moon of the quarantine world." Zixril gripped her command chair tightly. The Krell were bad news. They were pirates who had been getting bolder lately, attacking ships all over the outer regions of space. But attacking a ship so close to a quarantined world was incredibly stupid and dangerous. "What is a civilian ship doing in restricted space?" she asked. "I don't know, Captain, but there's something else. The merchant ship isn't just calling us. They're broadcasting on every frequency they have, including ones that would reach the planet below." Everyone on the bridge went silent. They all understood what this meant. The humans were not supposed to know about the Galactic Council yet. They had only discovered faster-than-light travel about 10 years ago. The Council had planned to wait at least another 100 years before introducing themselves properly. "Captain," Velthar said quietly, "the humans are answering the call." On the main screen, data started appearing. Multiple ships were launching from the third planet. Their engines were burning bright and hot, showing they were military-grade. The readings were simple compared to Galactic Council technology, but there were many of them. Dozens of ships all moving together with perfect coordination. "By the first makers," Zixril whispered. "They have a military fleet." The lead ship sent out a message on an open channel. A human voice, deep and calm, filled the bridge through the translation system. "This is Commander Jake Morrison of the Earth Defense Coalition vessel Valiant. We received your distress call, Stellar Dawn. Stay where you are. We're coming to help you." Velthar pulled up a tactical map. "Captain, the human fleet will reach the battle in 42 minutes. The Stellar Dawn won't survive for 10 minutes against those Krell ships." Zixril made her decision quickly. "Helm, set course for the third moon. Maximum speed. Everyone to battle stations. We might be breaking some rules, but I won't let innocent people die while we worry about protocol." The Harmony's voice jumped to faster-than-light speed, racing toward the fight. In the cold darkness near the moon, the merchant ship Stellar Dawn was being destroyed piece by piece. Captain Elira held onto her command console as explosions rocked the ship. Smoke filled the air and sparks flew from damaged systems. "Shields are at 15%, her engineer called out through the smoke. "We can't take another hit like that." 3 Krell raider ships circled around them like hunters playing with their prey. The Krell enjoyed these attacks. They liked to make them last, to make their victims suffer and feel afraid before the end. "Did anyone answer our distress call?" Elira asked, even though she already knew what the answer would be. "Nothing from the Council, Captain, but we did get an answer from the planet." Elira's head turned quickly. "What did you say?" "The Deathworlders. They said they're on their way." Some of the crew laughed, but it was the kind of laugh that comes from fear and hopelessness. Help from a species that hadn't even been contacted yet? They might as well hope for a miracle from the ancient gods. Another explosion hit the ship. Warning alarms screamed as the main reactor started to fail. "Captain, new ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel," the sensor operator suddenly shouted. "Multiple contacts. They're using Earth identification codes." On the viewing screen, ships appeared from nowhere. They didn't look like Council vessels, which were smooth and artistic. These ships were rough and angular, covered in heavy armor and weapons. They looked like they were built for only one purpose, which was war. The largest ship moved directly between the Stellar Dawn and the Krell raiders. "Krell vessels. This is Commander Jake Morrison of the EDC Valiant. You are breaking interstellar law and have committed piracy against a civilian ship. Turn off your weapons and prepare to be boarded or we will shoot. You have 30 seconds to comply." The Krell war leader did exactly what everyone expected. He opened fire. The human ships moved faster than anyone watching had ever seen. Defense systems lit up space, shooting down Krell missiles before they could hit their targets. The humans shot back with weapons that fired solid metal rounds and focused energy beams. The first Krell raider exploded in a massive ball of fire. The second one tried to run away but was hit in the engine and stopped working. The third one managed to get its shields up, but the human fleet just kept shooting until the shields broke. In less than 3 minutes, the fight was over. Elira stared at her screen in complete shock. 3 Krell raiders, each one powerful enough to terrorize entire star systems, had been swept away like insects. Stellar Dawn, this is Commander Morrison. Can you make repairs or do you need help? Elira struggled with her communication controls. Commander, we need help with our structure and our reactor is dying. We have injured crew members. Understood. We're sending engineering teams and medical people. Just hold on, we'll fix you up. The Harmony's voice arrived just as human shuttles began connecting with the damaged merchant ship. Captain Zixral watched in amazement as armored figures came out, moving with practiced skill to save the vessel. Captain, Velthar said quietly. We should have been here first. Zixral nodded slowly. Yes, we should have. Open a communication channel to the human commander. Jake Morrison's face appeared on the screen. He was young for someone commanding a ship. He had short brown hair and sharp blue eyes that seemed to notice everything. He wore a gray uniform with symbols that Zixral didn't recognize. This is Captain Zixral of the Galactic Council vessel Harmony's voice. Commander Morrison, thank you for responding so quickly to the distress call. Morrison's face stayed neutral. Captain? I didn't know the Galactic Council had ships in this area. There was something in his voice like a quiet challenge. Zixral chose her words carefully. We patrol the Outer Rim territories. We were answering the same distress signal. But you didn't get here first. It wasn't a question. No, Commander. We didn't. A long moment passed. Then Morrison nodded. The merchant ship will be safe to travel in about 6 hours. My medical team is treating their wounded now. I'm leaving 2 escort ships to go with them back to Council space. That's very kind, Commander. But I have to ask, what was your fleet doing so close to this region? Morrison's lips moved in what might have been a smile. Training exercises, Captain. We were running drills when we picked up the distress call. Lucky timing. Zixral knew when someone was not telling the whole truth. The human fleet had been ready, organized, and clearly waiting for something. This was not luck or coincidence, I see. Commander, your government must know that this sector is under Council authority. Your presence here creates certain diplomatic problems. With respect, Captain, a ship was in trouble. We responded. If the Council is worried about rescue operations, maybe they should have more ships in the area. Morrison's tone stayed professional, but his message was very clear. Before Zixral could answer, alarms began screaming across her bridge. Velthar's voice rose in panic. Captain, massive faster-than-light signatures. At least 50 vessels, all heavy class. They're Krell ships. On the tactical display, a Krell warfleet appeared from faster-than-light travel. In the center was a huge dreadnought, twice the size of the Harmony's voice. A harsh, rough voice came through the communications channel. Human vessels, you destroyed Krell property and killed Krell warriors. You will surrender your ships now and prepare to be executed for your crimes. Zixral felt ice run through her body. Her ship couldn't fight against a force this big. They would all be destroyed, but Commander Morrison's face didn't change. If anything, he looked satisfied, like this was what he had been waiting for. Well, Captain Zixral, it looks like those diplomatic problems just got much bigger. You might want to move your ship behind our formation. Commander, you can't really plan to fight a Krell warfleet with this small group of ships. Morrison's smile was cold and hard. We're not fighting them alone, Captain. Bridge, send the signal. A simple message broadcast across all frequencies. Code Crimson. All units, this is Valiant. The warfleet is here. Zixral didn't understand until space itself seemed to split open. Hundreds of human ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the same time, surrounding the Krell fleet in a perfect sphere. Battleships, carriers, cruisers, destroyers, all carrying the symbol of Earth's defense coalition. The shuttle bay of the EDC Earthshaker was the biggest enclosed space Captain Zixral had ever seen on any starship. Her entire vessel could fit inside with plenty of room left over. Human crew members walked around doing their jobs with quiet efficiency. They barely looked at the alien visitors as they stepped off the shuttle. Impressive, isn't it? Commander Jake Morrison walked beside her. His armored boots made echoing sounds on the metal floor. The Earthshaker is our first true capital ship. We launched her 6 months ago. 6 months. Zixral repeated the words slowly. Your species has only had faster-than-light travel for barely 10 years, Commander. 11 years, actually, and we've been very busy during that time. They walked through corridors that reminded Zixral more of military bunkers than spacecraft. There were heavy blast doors every 50 meters. The walls were reinforced. There were backup systems for every backup system. Everything was designed to survive and keep working no matter what happened. Your ship is built like a fortress, she said. Morrison nodded. Where we come from, Captain, everything tries to kill you. Our planet, our weather, our animals. We learned a long time ago that if you want to survive, you build things tough and you prepare for the worst. It turns out that way of thinking works well in space, too. They entered a conference room where Admiral Susan Hayes was waiting. She was a tall woman with gray streaks in her hair, which was pulled back tightly. Her uniform had more decorations than Morrison's. Her dark eyes looked at Zixral like someone who spent their whole life reading threats and opportunities. Captain Zixral, welcome aboard. Please sit down. Hayes pointed to a chair that had been changed to fit Zixral's body shape. I hope you'll forgive how we met. We didn't plan for first contact to happen exactly like this. Zixral sat down in the chair, grateful for the consideration. Admiral, with respect, your fleet's presence suggests this was planned very carefully. Hayes smiled. Fair point. Let me be direct, Captain. We know the Galactic Council has been watching us. We've known for about 7 years now. The admission hit Zixral like a physical punch. That's impossible. Our observation methods are designed specifically to avoid being detected by species without faster-than-light technology. We weren't without faster-than-light when we found your observation posts, Morrison said. We were just new to it. There's a difference. One of our science ships detected strange energy patterns near the asteroid belt. We went to investigate. Hayes brought up a holographic display. We found your sensor platforms. Very advanced technology. We couldn't copy it, but we could identify it as artificial and not made by humans. That's when we knew we weren't alone in the universe. But you never tried to contact us, Zixral said. No. We took a different approach. We listened. We learned. Your platforms leaked data, probably on purpose to send information back to the Council. We intercepted some of those transmissions. We learned enough about the Galactic Council, the quarantine status, and the different species we'd someday meet. Hayes leaned forward. We also learned about the threats. The Krell Dominion. The pirate fleets. The wars happening at the edge of space. So we prepared ourselves. By building a military fleet, Zixral said. By building a defensive force, Hayes corrected her. Captain, Earth isn't interested in conquering anyone. We've fought enough wars among ourselves to know what they cost. But we're also not naive. The galaxy is dangerous and we refuse to be victims. So yes, we built ships. We trained crews. We set up defensive areas. And we waited to see how first contact would happen. Morrison activated another display. 3 weeks ago, the Krell started testing our defensive area. Small attacks, checking how we would respond. We drove them away, but we knew something bigger was coming. Then the Stellar Dawn came into our space, broadcasting a distress call. You used the merchant ship as bait, Zixral realized. We rescued the merchant ship, Hayes said firmly. But yes, we thought the Krell might use the situation to escalate. We were ready for them. What we didn't expect was how slow the Council's response would be. The criticism hurt because it was true. The Harmony's voice had been too far away, responding too slowly. If the humans hadn't helped, Captain Elira and her crew would be dead or enslaved. Admiral, the Council's quarantine rules exist for good reasons. Early contact can be traumatic for developing civilizations. We're not traumatized, Captain. We're ready. Hayes stood and walked to the window. Earth hung in the distance, a blue ball wrapped in white clouds. That planet down there is a Class 12 death world by your system. The gravity crushes most species. The air pressure is dangerous to anyone from a lighter world. We have weather that can destroy cities. We have predators that hunt in groups. We have diseases that change faster than we can cure them. And that's just the beginning. She turned back to Zixral. We didn't grow up on a gentle garden world, Captain. We clawed our way to the top of the food chain through stubbornness, ability to adapt, and refusing to give up no matter how bad things got. Those traits don't disappear when we reach space. They define who we are. Zixral felt a chill run through her body. She had read the reports on human evolution. The endless cycle of ice ages and disasters, the mass extinctions that should have wiped them out but somehow didn't. They were survivors at a level most species couldn't understand. What do you want from the Council, Admiral? Recognition, partnership, trade rights. The same things any spacefaring civilization wants. But we're not asking, Captain. We're informing you. Earth is announcing its presence. We'd prefer to do this peacefully with the Council's cooperation, but we will protect our interests with or without your approval. It was the kind of statement that would cause panic in Council chambers. A new spacefaring species militarily powerful and bold in their diplomacy, demanding recognition on their own terms. The Council will have concerns, Zixral said carefully. Your military power exceeds most member worlds. Some will see you as a threat. Some would be right to, Morrison said bluntly. We are a threat. To pirates. To slavers. To anyone who thinks they can prey on the weak. Admiral Hayes mentioned the Krell aren't the only problem in this area. We've identified 17 different pirate groups, 3 powers trying to expand their territory, and 2 species engaged in what you politely call territorial disputes, but what we recognize as attempted genocide. He pulled up a star chart covered in tactical markers. The Council talks a good game about peace and cooperation, but the Outer Rim is a war zone. Species are suffering while the Council debates and forms committees, so here's what's going to happen. Earth is establishing a defensive coalition. We're offering membership to any system or species that wants protection from aggression. Free of charge, no strings attached. You protect your people, we help you enforce it. Zixral's mind raced. This was exactly the kind of action the Council feared from newly emerged species. You're creating a rival power block. We're filling a vacuum, Hayes corrected. The Council claims authority but can't enforce peace. Fine, we will. In our space and in any space where we're invited. If the Council wants to call that rivalry, that's their choice. We'd rather call it partnership. The Council will never agree to this, Zixral said, though she wasn't completely sure that was true. They will when the alternative becomes clear, Morrison said. He pulled up another display showing ship construction facilities orbiting Earth and Mars. What you saw today was our ready response fleet. About 200 ships active and deployed. We have another 300 being built right now. In 5 years, we'll have 1,000 ships. In 10 years, 5,000. The numbers were staggering. Most Council species had fleets a fraction of that size. And before you ask, Hayes added, we can afford it. Earth has 8 billion people and a unified planetary government as of 3 years ago. We've industrialized our asteroid belt and set up mining operations on 12 different bodies in our solar system. We have the resources and the determination. The only question is whether the Council wants to work with us or against us. Zixral sat in silence thinking about what this all meant. Everything the Council had assumed about humanity was wrong. They weren't a primitive species needing protection. They were an emerging power with the ability to reshape the entire regional balance. I need to report this to the Council, she said finally. We expected that, Hayes said. In fact, we'd like you to deliver a formal message for us. She handed Zixral a data crystal. Our terms for diplomatic recognition. We think they're fair. But Captain, make sure the Council understands we're not negotiating our right to exist. We're negotiating the terms of cooperation. And if they refuse? Morrison's expression became hard. Then Earth will proceed independently. We'll still protect our allies. Still establish our defensive coalition. Still build our fleet. The only difference is the Council won't have any say in how we do it. Zixral took the crystal. You realize some Council members will want military action to contain you. Let them try, Hayes said softly. But remind them what they saw today. The Krell brought a war fleet. We brought a bigger one, and we had it ready in under an hour. Any species that thinks they can intimidate or attack Earth should think about whether they want to test our defenses. Because I promise you,